Welcome to Module 10, Online versus Face-to-Face. Why do companies use online and why do companies use face-to-face? Well, for one, online, you can have the interview from anywhere in the world. That is one of the main benefits of the online. You don't have to pay out for a room, you don't have to pay out for refreshments, you don't have to pay out for extra staff to come in and cover. They can do it virtually from anywhere in the world. Just recently, a client of mine had an interview for a large IT company. It was based in America, but one of the CEOs was actually in India, and she was from Northern Ireland. So at one stage, they had someone from Texas, someone from India, and someone from Northern Ireland. That is the benefit of an online interview. Now, preparing for an online interview is very different in a lot of ways, but similar in other ways to a face-to-face interview. Face-to-face interview, a lot of it is to do with body language, a lot of it is to do with the appearance. Very similar to online, but you have to make sure when you're online, your camera setup is correct, you've practiced being online, your lighting is correct, even what you're wearing is correct. If you can't do those simple things, interviewers tend to think that you can't do the big thing that you're being interviewed for. This is not said by interviewers, this is quite unconscious. But I have said on a lot of interview panels, probably 5,000 plus up to now. After speaking with the interview panels, they have mentioned that the camera setup was so poor that they wouldn't want that person working for them. Or the lighting was so poor that they wouldn't want that person working for them. And it is ironic because during most interviews, the interviewee will say their attention to detail is paramount. But if your attention to detail is paramount, you would surely have your camera at the right height. You would surely have the right lighting. You would surely have the right microphone, or at least it's switched on, and you would have done a dry run. But what we have found is that is not the case. When you are on screen, your eyes need to be in the top third of the screen. If you can imagine the screen as a box, a rectangular box, and it's split into three, a bottom, a middle, and a top. If you can imagine a line that goes across the top, that's where your eyes need to be. It just sets you up really well on the camera. If you have a window, the window needs to be behind the camera that way, so that you get the light here. But if it's too strong a light, just pull the curtain over. Your microphone should be as close to you as possible, but out of sight of the camera. And I know a lot of people say, dress for the occasion, even on camera. But I recall a situation that I had when a gentleman turned on his screen and he didn't have a shirt on. I was a bit confused, but we continued with the interview. He was not prepared. Needless to say, he did not get the job. Now, the good thing about an in-person interview is you don't have to think about the camera setup. You don't have to make sure that the technology is working. You don't have to make sure that you've closed down all the browsers in the background. And you don't have to make sure that everybody in your house knows that you're taking an interview. But there is a lot you have to do for an in-person interview. There's so much that can be picked up from an in-person interview. Your whole body language, your appearance, how you say what you say is easier to be picked up in person than it is online. So it is important to prepare as well and as well in advance as you can for your in-person interview. If there was one thing I could tell you that is the same for in-person and online, it's about the preparation. There is a slight crossover of what needs to be done and how to prepare, but they're two different skills you must learn, because a lot of the world recruitment is going online. It's more efficient and it's more cost effective. So practice, practice, practice.